Well, hello everyone, hello howdy. Today I want to make a little bit of a different video on Garden Warfare 2.
What do you mean by that?
In today's video, I want to go over some of my personal reasons on why I think Pylon Imp is single-handedly the most underrated character in the entire game. My voice is still messed up, so I do apologize if, my voice sounds messed up throughout this video. I do want to make a slightly bigger video on Garden Warfare 2. I want to make the zombie version for the best variants of every single plant in the game. I made the plant one, and I never got around to making the zombie one. And that is something I want to do. I already have the thumbnail made, that video is already, ready to go. I actually just have to record and make it, but my voice is just extremely messed up right now, and I want that video to be, as good as it possibly can be. So we're gonna have that video coming out quite soon, but regardless, today's video, I just want to go over some of my personal reasons why I think Pylon Imp is the most underrated character in the game. Now, Pylon Imp comes in doing a whopping 55 damage per second. I say whopping because, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that much. With headshots, that DPS is going to get bumped up all the way to 64.69, the funny number. So DPS on Pylon Imp, it's not really that much to think about. Not saying 55 DPS is bad by any means, especially for a character as small as Imp. Having 55 damage per second, and especially on the kind of primary he has, it's not bad by any means. It's far from being bad, but it's not his most desirable feature. On top of having 55 damage per second, his shots actually have splash damage. So even if you're not hitting your direct shots with Pylon Imp, you're still getting rewarded with extra damage just for shooting around your enemies. Now, the splash damage isn't crazy, it's just normal splash damage, but he's an incredibly small character with fairly decent DPS. And on top of that DPS, even if you're not maximizing the DPS by hitting every single shot, you're getting those splash shots. And that splash damage is definitely going to be helping you get some extra damage. As well as with splash damage, you might be able to hit someone behind a corner or some very specific scenarios like that. One character I do want to compare him to is Scallywag Imp. Pylon Imp and Scallywag Imp are two very similar characters. A lot of people think that Scallywag Imp is a better version of Pylon Imp. I want to correct myself. A lot of people say Scallywag Imp is just a better version of Pylon Imp. This video is about Pylon Imp being underrated. Now, I'm not saying this character is the best character in the entire game. I'm just saying that this character definitely goes unappreciated whenever people are talking about characters in Garden Warfare 2. Now, if we compare base Pylon Imp to base Scallywag Imp, it's just going to look like Scallywag Imp blows Pylon Imp out of the water. Statistically, the matchup between Pylon Imp and Scallywag Imp just doesn't look like it's in Pylon Imp's favor whatsoever. And I'm not saying that I think Pylon Imp is a better character than Scallywag Imp. Scallywag Imp has 25 more DPS than Pylon Imp, but, Pylon Imp got that splash damage. Scallywag Imp may have the more damage per second, but he's a lot harsher. What I mean by that, for example, Pylon Imp has a much faster rate of fire than Scallywag Imp. If we compare Scallywag and Pylon Imp, the base rate of fire for Pylon Imp is 550, and the base rate of fire for Scallywag Imp is 200. Now, granted, they do shoot a little bit different. I think the reason Pylon Imp has this faster rate of fire is because, he shoots 2 at a time. I also think because he shoots 2 at a time, he is able to get picks a lot easier. Because if you're going to hit one shot with Pylon Imp's primary, you're most likely going to hit the second one because it just kind of follows up right behind it. So if someone's behind this cover, for example, right? If they're about to run and I get this shot off, I'm more likely to kill them with Pylon Imp than Scallywag Imp because I'm getting the 2 shots instead of 1. Same thing compared to Super Commando and Reg Soldier. If someone's about to hide behind a corner and you shoot, considering it's a burst shot, you're more likely gonna get that kill. Just because the rate of fire is quicker because it's a burst. Scallywag's fall off damage and fall off damage end is also much worse than Pylon's. Pylon's fall off starts at 15 meters and ends at 30. Scallywag starts at 10 meters and ends at 15 meters. So you do get better range with Pylon Imp compared to Scallywag Imp, which is just another thing going to Scallywag being kind of a harsher character. Now, impact damage is actually better on Scallywag Imp. However, you gotta remember, whenever you shoot once, you're shooting 1 bullet. Whenever you shoot once with Pylon Imp, you get 2 shots. Sure, the impact damage is a little bit less on Pylon shots, but every time you shoot, you get 2 shots instead of 1. Now, whenever I say something like this, I'm not just putting Scallywag into the grave. I do think that Scallywag is better than Pylon Imp, but I'm just gonna compare the two because they're the two most similar imps. So Scallywag's impact damage does 18. Pylon Imp's does 13. But whenever you shoot Pylon Imp's primary, you get 2 shots because it's a 2-round burst. Whenever you shoot Scallywag shots, you get 1 shot, and granted that 1 shot does more damage, but you're only getting 1 shot instead of the 2, so pick your poison. Pylon Imp's better, let's move on. The splash DPS on Pylon Imp is night and day better than it is on Scallywag Imp. The splash DPS on Pylon Imp is 10 DPS. The splash DPS on Scallywag Imp is almost 4. It's 3.67. So, splash is just not even a competition when it comes to Pylon Imp and Scallywag Imp, which is another reason that Pylon Imp is just, more forgiving. Pylon Imp is significantly less harsh, and I'd say the biggest reason for him not being as harsh as Scallywag Imp is because of that generous splash damage. Some things that Scallywag does have over Pylon Imp that I can't really say much about. Projectile speed on Scallywag Imp is a little bit faster than it is on Pylon Imp. Not really much to say about that, to be honest. Whenever I'm comparing the projectile speed of their two primaries, when you shoot one time with Scallywag Imp, you're getting one shot. When you shoot with Pylon Imp, you're getting two, so it's just double as good. Let's move on. Comparing their ammo, this video has just come down to why I think Pylon Imp is more fun than Scallywag Imp. I should just title this video comparing Pylon Imp to Scallywag Imp. Pylon Imp gets 2 more shots than Scallywag Imp. Pylon Imp has 16 ammo in his clip, and Scallywag Imp has 14. Scallywag Imp also has a higher rate of fire, including the reload, so he's going to be shooting faster than you would be with Scallywag Imp. And at least stats-wise, comparing Pylon Imp and Scallywag Imp, that's about it. Now, the takeaway from this video isn't just to completely shit on Scallywag Imp, because that's just not the point of this video. I don't think Scallywag Imp is bad by any means. I just think that Pylon Imp is incredibly underrated because Scallywag Imp is a character. Now, one big thing Scallywag Imp has over Pylon Imp is that legendary meter. Granted, he has one of the worst legendary meters. Sure, it only takes a couple kills to get, but it also only lasts a couple seconds. But that is one thing, unfortunately, he has over Pylon Imp that I can't really say much about. In Garden Warfare 2, just basing your opinions off stats really isn't the way to go. Whenever I play Pylon Imp versus I play Scallywag Imp, I find myself just getting way more kills with Pylon Imp in general. Now, I've definitely played Pylon Imp way more than I have Scallywag Imp. I mean, Pylon Imp is like my guy, my GW2 right here. I find myself just killing easier with Pylon Imp compared to Scallywag Imp, even though they have a significant DPS difference. The takeaway from this video should be, just try Pylon Imp. I promise you this character is incredibly underrated. Now, he is no S tier character. He's not up there with HP and EP. However, he definitely stands out from the crowd, and he is definitely a good character, and I think that he has cemented himself as a good character. I just think other people need to go ahead and give him a try. I can't believe I just dedicated an entire video to glazing Pylon Imp, but yeah, that's where I'm going to go ahead and call it. If you enjoyed today's video, then, feel free to like and subscribe. If you want to see more videos of me glazing Pylon Imp, then, feel free to leave a comment about that below. And yeah, I guess, one more thing. We are at 25.6k subscribers, if I'm not mistaken. So we are just slowly but surely, we're itching our way all the way up to 30,000. Which, again, just absolutely ridiculous. You guys are amazing. But yeah, now that I said that, I don't really have much else to add for today's video. I'll catch you guys next time. Sayonara.
Okay.